All right, let's get practicing in QuickBooks Online. Grab the link below in the description so that you can follow along. All right, here we are in the QBO Gym. And the QBO Gym is a place where we have numerous exercises that simulate real life scenarios that you may encounter as a bookkeeper. Every single month, we come out with new exercises for you to practice and complete, and we break it down for you into 4 different sections. So today, we are going to be working in the September cool down section. At the top here is a little video that talks about what's going on in Craig's world that month. He is our fictitious business owner. Further down is in a little interactive quiz to test your knowledge. And then at the bottom, here are all of the exercises within this section. So today we are going to practice reconciling the checking and savings accounts. You will need to be in the sample company. If you are not sure how to get into the sample company or get your own free QBOA account, click on the link below in the description. So, our scenario today. As a bookkeeper, your primary responsibility is to ensure that all financial transactions are correctly categorized and match the flow of money into and out of the bank. You have just received the monthly statement from Craig's Bank, and now it's time to confirm that all the transactions have been correctly added to and categorized in QuickBooks Online. To complete this exercise, you need a copy of Craig's bank statement. Just click on the link beneath the cool down video to grab a copy of the statement that includes both the checking account and the savings account. Keep in mind that the statement has 2 pages, so you'll need to look at the second page when reconciling the account. So let's go back and grab that first. Here I am back in the gym. Here is that animated video. Here, click on this button that says checking and savings accounts or savings statement. If you click on that, you will see that it has appeared. It'll download for you, and then this is what it looks like. Here's the first page, and then here is the second page. All right, so let's go back to the exercise here. We're going to start with the checking account. And again, we're going to use that downloaded checking account statement for this section. So step 1 to get started with reconciling, we need to click on the gear icon, and then in the tools column, we select reconcile. So here I am in the sample company. This is the dashboard. At the top here is that little gear icon. Click on that. Under tools, you are going to go down to reconcile and click on that. You'll get this little pop-up first. This is just something that comes up the first time that you reconcile. It's QBO just saying like, hey, wanted to let you know what you're about to do. And so they have a little video and some other information. For us, we're just going to go ahead and click on the Get Started button. And then you get another one up here. Again, QBO is just trying to be super helpful. Go ahead and click on Let's Get Reconciled. So that's what step 2 is, and step 3. And then step 4, here we go. Looking on the checking account statement for the ending balance, we will see that it is $46.8202. So if we click into here, down here is that ending balance for the checking account, $46.8202. That's what we need to add in the ending balance on the box. So let's go ahead and do that. Click into this $46.8202. And a quick note here, we have the correct account. We're doing the checking account, but when you are reconciling in real life, just double check that the one that you need is actually selected here. So we've added that ending balance of $46.8202. Again, in a real life scenario, you would use the in a real life scenario, you would use the ending date for the statement, but because the dates in the sample company are always changing, we are just going to use today's date for that. So to do that, we just click into the box to enter today's date. Just type in a lowercase t, and it automatically shows you your date, today's date of whenever you're doing this exercise or watching this video. So now all we need to do is select Start Reconciling. And this is the page that will show up. If you have any pop-ups that appear, go ahead and click out of them. It is QBO just trying to be super helpful for you. And in real life, if you do need to click on those and get more information, you of course can. So let's take a minute to review what we're actually looking at the screen. I'm going to refer to the screenshots here since we have some things marked out and it's a little bit easier to read. So the first thing here is that beginning balance. That is the ending balance that was entered the last time that you reconciled. It cannot be changed. It is how it is. The statement ending balance is the one that we just entered on the bank statement on that previous screen. So that is what will go here. You see this little statement ending balance. That is what that is the date of the ending balance that we have that was entered on the previous screen as well. If for whatever reason you've entered the incorrect information here or here, you can click on this edit info button and you can go ahead and change it. Next thing to note, further down on that screen, there is a little circle next to each transaction. When you have matched it from the bank statement to what is in QBO, you would click on it and a little blue check mark will appear. This indicates that it has been marked as clear, similar to what you did when you're processing the bank fees. And those are right here. And then when we have checked off when we've cleared one of the transactions, the amount, whether it's the payment or deposit, will pull up here into this area up here. And this is added to the total payments and deposits. Then we have this cleared balance, which is the combination of this payment and deposits. It'll be entered up here. The difference over on this side is the difference between the statement ending balance minus the cleared balance equals what the difference is. The ultimate goal when you are reconciling is to have this difference equal 0. That is always very satisfying as a bookkeeper to be able to have everything reconciled properly and see that 0. So that is the ultimate goal when you are doing reconciliation. And then one more quick note here, there is a filter that is automatically put on. It says statement ending date. Sometimes transactions, they're called hidden or rogue transactions. They may be entered with the wrong date, and so they may not be showing up when you are doing this. You can always turn it off by just clicking on the X, and then you'll be able to see all of the transactions that are through there. So just keep in mind if you're looking for something that is on the statement, but you're not finding it here as you're reconciling, you can always turn off that filter and see if maybe it appears that way. All right, so let's go back to the exercise. We're going to start looking at the deposits. So we are going to click on the deposits category so that we can only see those particular ones. So let's do that. Right now it is showing all of the transactions. You can break it down into payments or deposits. We're going to work on the deposits first. So click on that one, and now we are only seeing deposits. So what we want to do now is we want to go to the statement where there's the deposit and credits, and then we want to match it to what we see in QBO. As we find a match, we're just going to click on the circle that is next to it. Okay, so here we have our deposits. It happens to be the first one right here on the top. We are going to look at each individual one and then find it in QBO. So the first one that we have here is Bill's Windsurf Shop for $175, which happens to be that top one. So we'll click on that. Then we have one for Freeman for $86.40. Which happens to be the next one. There's Freeman 86.40. Click on that circle. And then I keep doing that. The next one is a deposit for $225. So let's see, there is that deposit right here. Okay, from Kate, click on the check mark. And as you notice, as we're clicking this is all changing because again, as we're clicking and clearing these out, they're moving up to this area up this way. Then we have something from Amy's Bird Sanctuary for $105. So let's click on that right there. Then we have the deposit from Cool Cars, $694. Cool Cars right there, $694. That one is checked off. There is a deposit for $337.50. So it doesn't have a name next to it, but there's $337.50, so we know that's the correct one. Click on the circle. Then a deposit for $218.75. Doesn't have a name, but here's a deposit for the same amount, so click on that circle. Then we have, what did we just do? 218.75. Okay. And then we have one for $520. Let's look for that. There is not one here for $520 for that deposit. So let's pause on that one and go to the next one. Then we have another deposit for $756.15. That one is also not showing up there. So there's two deposits that we cannot find matches for. So let's continue with the exercise and see what we might be able to find. The two incorrect deposits are made very close together. You'll notice here, if we look on dates, your dates will be different. Sample company is always changing dates, but you'll see that they were 1 day apart. So they were made very close together. And if you notice that if we add the amounts on the statement for these two deposits, $520 and $756.15, that's these two right here, it equals $1,276.15. Now, if we added the two that are showing up here, this 408 and 868.15, if you add those together, they also are the same amounts. So if we select the two transactions, the total deposit will actually match what is on the statement. So what does this situation imply? That each of these deposits is comprised of multiple checks and that maybe something is a little bit off there. So let's take a look at each deposit a little more closely to see what's going on. First, we're going to click on the one that says 408 and then select Edit. So here is that 408 one. Click on that line there. Anywhere on that line is fine. And then click on the Edit button so that we can see a little more detail of what's going on with this deposit. You will notice when we open it up that there are two checks that are deposited, one for Amy for 108 and one for John at 300. You see that one for Amy right here for 108 and then this one for John at 300. So now we know that there's two checks and we know who it's for and about the amount. So let's go ahead and just save and close this one so that we can go ahead and take a look at the other one. Again, to do that, we're just going to click on the line that has that amount and then select Edit. So we're going to click on the last one here that says 868.15. Click on that line and then click on Edit so that we can see what is here. And you will see there are 5 different checks that were included in that deposit. There was also one that is for Amy's Bird Sanctuary. So you see that there's something in common between those two deposits. One check is for 108, which was in that previous one. And then the other check is for 220, which is in this one right here, 220 for Amy's Bird Sanctuary. We realized that these checks were deposited incorrectly by mistake in QBO. So the first deposit should have included Amy's check for 220 because 220 plus 300 equals 520. And that is what we have down here for this first deposit. The other one should have included the 108 deposit because 108 plus 460, I could read off all those numbers, but anyways, the 108 should have been in that second one because that when you add everything up together properly, it is $756.15, and that is what we have here. So the total amount ends up being the same. And in a real world, you could just select both of those deposits and complete the reconciliation. But we're actually going to fix the deposit to match what is on the statement. So next to the Amy's Bird Sanctuary, we're going to remove the check mark from this transaction and then save and close. So this transaction, the one for 220, we're going to remove that check mark there. And then we're going to save and close it. And you will see that it has adjusted the deposit here to $648.15. And now we need to go back to the one that's the 408 so that we select the one for $220. So click again on that line that says 408, click on that and then select Edit. And you will see now both of the transactions are appearing. And the reason again is for this is because what we just did, we unchecked the one for 220. So now it's just pulling into this bank account or this bank deposit. So what we need to do is select the one for 220 and then unselect the one for 108. You will see now that the total has adjusted to $520, which is what is showing on the statement. And so that is now this one is correct. So go ahead and click on the green Save and Close button. And that one has been changed, and you will see that it is now $520. This is the step that we just did. So now that we fixed the first deposit and it matches properly, we need to fix the second deposit in the same manner. So click on the one that says 648.15 and then edit it. So 648.15, click anywhere on that line and then select edit again. And you will see the other deposit for Amy for 108 has now appeared on this one. So we're going to click on that checkbox. You will see now that it has updated to 756.15, which is what is on the statement right here. And so it is all corrected. And now we can click on the green Save and Close button. And it has been updated here as well for us. So now at this point, now that we have matched or fixed it and everything is matching properly to what is on the statement, we can go ahead and click on the two circles that are next to each of those. So let's do that. Click on the circles for each of those. And now we have finished the deposits. Everything is showing as reconciled properly. So now let's go back and handle the payments. To do this, we're going to click on the Payments tab so that we're only seeing the payments. Let's go ahead and do that. And just so you know, even though you've clicked into this, if you went back to the deposits, everything is still saved. So you don't have to worry about anything being unselected. All the work that we just did is still saved. So now we're just going to look at payments. This is like a filter here. If we look at the statement here, we will see that the way that it is organized is that all of the checks are together, all the ATM transactions are together, and all the other withdrawals are together. So for statements like this one, it's often easiest to just start with the checks and group it together. So to do that, we're just going to click on the little arrow next to type so that everything is grouped by type. And we'll see if we look on the statement here. If I scroll down here, you see here's the ones for the checks, here's all of the other withdrawals, and then here are ATM transactions as well, or debit card transactions. So let's group it so that we have it in just checks. Click on the type, and there's that little arrow that appears for you. And now you will see it, all of the checks have been grouped together. So now let's go ahead and examine what is on the statement and mark click on the circles next to the ones that are there. So let's go back to the statement here and look at all of the checks. We have a check here for check number 4 for $54.55. So check number 4 right here, $54.55. Great. We'll click on the circle there. We have check number 12 for $55. So check 12, there it is, $55. Go ahead and click on that check mark. Check number 5 for $62.01. So check 5, there you are, 6201, that matches. So click on the circle there. Check number 70 for $237.14. Let's look at that. There's check 70, but it does not match the amount. It's $185. So let's skip this one for now. Let's finish the rest of them, and then we can come back to this one. So let's look at the next one. Check number 2 for $18.08. Check 2, $18.08. There it is. Click on that. And then you will see check 75 for $228.75. And that is this one up here for Hicks Hardware. Click on that circle. Now let's go back and re-examine the one that check number 70 that doesn't match on the statement. It's a significant difference. $237.14 minus $185 equals $52.14. And it doesn't seem like it's a very simple typo where it's just off by a couple of cents or something. Remember that the bank is always right. And in a real life situation, you would likely actually have a digital copy of that check so that you would be able to confirm what it is for. So we are going to edit the amount to match the statement. We'll make a note of the difference between the two amounts, which is $52.14, and then we'll investigate it a little bit later. So let's click on that transaction and adjust the amount to $237.14 and then save it. So here is that check 70, click into it. Where this amount is, change that to $237.14, I believe was the amount. Yep, $237.14. And then you can go ahead and click on the green Save button. Okay, and now that one is going to match, so we're going to click on the circle. Remember that difference, that 52.14, I think it was. We're going to investigate that a little bit later. But let's go ahead and move on. We've gotten all the checks done, so now let's take a look at the rest of the payments. It may be easier to find them in a date order, so let's go ahead and sort this by date chronologically. All you have to do is just click on date to do this. So over on this side, just click on dates, and now it has been changed for you. So now we're going to look at all of the each of the withdrawals on the statement and then click on the circle next to it. Make sure we address all the withdrawals in both of the ATM and debit card section as well as the other subtractions section of the statement. So here we have, if we scroll back up, there's all of these and then all of these. Let's start with the ATM debit card ones and go through that. So we have one for Squeaky Clean for $19.99. Let's look here. Here's one for Squeaky Clean, $19.99, so that matches. Click on the circle there. Then we have Bob's Burger. We have two, one for $5.66 and one for $3.86. So let's look for both of those. Here is that $5.66 for Bob's Burger joint. Go ahead and click on the circle there. And then another one for $3.86. Go ahead and click on that circle as well. Another one for Squeaky Clean for $19.99. Let's go ahead and find that one. Here it is. And just as a quick note here, if you had one that you needed to check off but not the other, you would compare dates. You would look at it. We don't have it here on the statement because, again, the sample company is always changing dates. So putting something here is not going to match anyways in the sample company. So we just leave it blank. But in real life, as you are going to be matching it, if you have just one that's here and you have two that are showing up here, you would look at the date next to see which one would match properly. So just keep that in mind as you're doing this in real life. And then we have one here for Chins for $63.15. So let's look for that one. That's right here. Go ahead and click on the check mark next to that one. We've done the ATM and debit card, so let's look at the other withdrawals as well. We have one for $300. Let's go ahead and look for that one. I'm going to scroll back to the top and see. Here we go. It's that top one right there. So click on that check mark. Then we have one for $250. Let's look for that one. That happens to be next. Click on that. Then we have two, they are both saying tax, one for $38.50, one for $38.40. So let's click on both of those. Here is that tax payment, and those are the two amounts that we have. So click on the circles next to each of those. The next one is for $89.09. Let's find that one. That also happens to be the next one right here for Tanya's. Go ahead and click on the circle there. Then the next one for $108.09. Let's find that one. $108.09. That's for Tanya's again. Go ahead and click on that circle. Moving on, one for Hicks for $250. Let's find that one. That's the next one right here. Click on that. Another one for Hicks for $240.36. This one says $24.36, not $240. So maybe it's that one, but we're just going to hold off on that because I don't see it showing up anywhere else. Let's circle back to that one in a moment and keep going with the rest of them. We have one for Hall Properties for $900. So let's go back to that or look through here. Here it is, that bill payment 11. Go ahead and select the check mark next to that. As you see, our difference is getting closer and closer to zero. That's really exciting. Let's look for another one for Hicks for $215.66. So $215.66, here we go with Hicks Hardware. Click on that circle. The next one is for $75. Let's scroll back to the top and see if we find one for $75. Here we go. This one that says Books by Bessie. Go ahead and click on that. Here, one for $87.50. Here's one for Pies Cakes. Click on that. And then one more for $75. Let's find that one. Here it is for Pam, $75. Now, as you can see, there is this difference of $240.36, which just happens to be this one that says for Hicks for $240.36. So that's the transaction that we are looking for to make that zero. So let's investigate that one a little bit more. As I mentioned, it says 2436 versus 240.36. The likelihood is that there was just a missing arrow or a missing zero, and so it's just a typing error. So that's most likely the reason why it doesn't match. So we're just going to go ahead and edit that one. We're going to click into that expense and then adjust it and then click Save. So let's find that one again, that 2436 that's showing for Hicks. Click into it in the amount here, change it so it's $240.30. Click on the Save button. And now we can go ahead and click on the circle right here. And look at that, our difference is now zero. We have reconciled it properly, and now we can go ahead and finish it. Before we do, I just want to make a quick note here. Remember how we clicked on check number 70 for 185 and changed it to 237.14 in a previous step? We knew the bank had the amount correct, but it was hard to see where the mistake might have been made. Now that we see the transactions in chronological order, we may have a hint. Next to the transaction at Chin's there is one for $52.14. It's marked as a separate cash transaction, so maybe it was included in check number 70. We don't see any kind of clear notes in Craig's, we don't see it very clearly in Craig's notes. So we just want to watch it next month to see if this transaction ever clears the bank. If not, then most likely it is part of check number 70 and we just need to make an adjustment later. So just a quick note here. Here's that one for Chin's gas. It's that cash expense, and it's saying for 52.14, which was that difference. So that's the one we're talking about there. So just keep that in mind as you're doing bookkeeping. Some things get combined. Sometimes things get combined and you don't realize it, and you don't have clear understanding of it. So you may just need to make a note for it for yourself so that you can go back and take a look at it as things get cleared and as time goes on. So, like I said, we are all finished with reconciling the checking account. So now we can go ahead and click on the green Finish Now button. So that's over here on the top right, click on Finish Now. And we have this little pop-up that shows up. We can click on the green Done button. Keep in mind that in real life, you actually would have a button here that says Attach Statement to give you that opportunity to attach the statement for this particular month. Always good idea to have that extra reference tool handy if you ever need to go back and refer to it. The sample company doesn't offer this, so there's nothing there, but just keep in mind in real life, that's something that you could do. So click on the green Done button, and now the checking account is all reconciled. So now let's move on to the savings account. To get started in the amount in the account field, we need to change it to savings. The ending balance, we're going to enter $800.02. Since that is what shows down here, $800.02. Oh, sorry. And then in the ending date, again, we're going to use today's date. So we just type a lowercase t to get it. So let's go ahead and change this first. This account, we're going to click into it and change it to savings. The ending balance, like we said, is $800.02. So let's go ahead and add that. $800.02. The ending date, we're just going to use today's date. So whatever your date is today, just click, type in a lowercase t and it'll show up for you. And then we're going to click on the green Start Reconciling button. And this is what is appearing. Again, there was some pop-ups for me. If you get them too, you can just go ahead and click out of those. So it's just showing here as one transaction for $200. So let's take a look a little bit more and see what's going on. It's pretty simple this month with only one transaction. The adjacent to the transaction for $200, we're going to click the circle. You'll notice that there's interest on the bank statement that still needs to be recorded. So we're going to click save to save for later. So let's do that first. Here is that line, that $200. If we look at the bank statement, here is that checking to savings. It says $200 deposit. And there's that 2 cents that matches the interest over here for 2 cents. So now we just need to make an adjustment. So go ahead and click on the Save for Later button. And now let's go ahead and take a look at the bank deposit. We're going to click on the plus new button and then select bank deposit. Over here on the left-hand side, click on plus new, and then under other, select bank deposit. And this is what will appear for you. We need to adjust and add to it. In the account field, we need to adjust it so it says savings by clicking on the down arrow. So click on this arrow right here and change it to savings. In the date field, we would enter the date of the deposit. For today, for the purposes of this exercise, we're going to use today. Some banks show the exact date of the deposit. If yours doesn't, though, you would just use the last day of the statement period. So let's go ahead and adjust it. Mine is already set to today. If yours is not, you can just do a lowercase t and it would show up today's date. In the add funds to this deposit grid, we're going to complete it with by selecting interest earned. So let's do that. Here's that add funds to this deposit. Click into the account amount or account field 2 times and then type in interest earned. Oops, I can't spell. There we go. Interest earned. There it is. And then we need to change the amount field to 2 cents, since that is how much was the interest. I'm going to tab over. You see that it has been adjusted there. And now all we need to do is save and close it. So here is the save and close button on the bottom right. Go ahead and click on that. And that bank deposit of 2 cents has been saved. So now we just need to go ahead and resume reconciling. Click on the green resume reconciling button right here. More pop-ups. Go ahead and click out of those if you get them. And here is the one that we just added, that interest earned for 2 cents. So go ahead and click on the circle next to that one. You will see that this has now changed to 0. So we know that everything has been reconciled and matched properly. So now we are going to go ahead and click on the green Finish Now button. That is right here on the top right corner. Click on Finish Now. Once again, you get that little pop-up there that tells you that you've reconciled the account. You would, again, have in real life an opportunity to attach a statement. There would be a little button right here that you could, add that statement for. You can add this exact same statement, actually, since the checking and savings are on the same one. You could add it right here, but the sample company doesn't have that. So for now, we are just going to click the green Done button. And there you go. You have now reconciled the checking and the savings accounts. And if you have any questions or want to know more about the QBO Gym, just go ahead and click on the link below in the description. Be sure to leave this session of the sample company open, as you will need it for our next exercise, where we practice reconciling the MasterCard account. And I will see you in the next video.